We are back at it again. Let's see. All right, welcome everybody to the Life is Conquest or Creator Dreams podcast. My name is Rudy Saenz, and I have a special guest today. His name is DFDBabyLee. He is an artist,
Yes, sir.
a performing artist out in Texas, Houston, Texas, correct?
Yes, sir. Houston, Texas. Out of Houston, Texas. Yes, sir.
All right.
100% correct.
Just wanted to make sure. And yeah, I just brought him on because he definitely has a lot of good value to add to creating artists. I already said this before, but the reason why I made this podcast is because I want to be able to help out as many artists or creators as possible. And the best way that I feel that I can do that is actually ask the artists and creators that are actually doing the thing today, not the ones that are already like, with a million followers and, having $1 million budgets, but the ones that are actually in the weeds on the grind, having to do everything independently. And I think those type of creators and artists are the ones that provide the most value for the viewers. So, with that said, I'm going to go through a series of questions and just have a casual conversation with DFD Baby Lee. And what do I say for short? Like, is there anything for short, or is it the whole thing?
You call me Lee.
Lee. All right. I didn't want to say
Yeah, you just
DFD.
call me. Nah. You got most people do though. They kind of they say the whole thing. The DFD baby Lee.
Okay.
I'm like, man, that's pretty long. I'm like, so you can just call me Lee, and that's
All
what's
right.
up.
I'll probably say DFD Baby Lee or Lee because that kind of sounds rolls off well.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever.
All right. All right. So, yeah, with that, all of that being said, how you doing, man?
Good. Shit, waking up, made it through the week. It's Sunday out here, right here in Texas. Shit, right here, just kind of the day, kind of get everything together. I was at the studio yesterday, knocking out some last minute things for a project. So then I went running around all day, basically, when I got out of there and saw the fight last night. So I had a pretty full day. I didn't get home kind of till kind of late. So today's kind of like unwinding,
Okay. Okay.
getting ready for the week.
So when you say like go to the studio, like is it like a friend studio or do you just like you pay somebody like a no shit studio? You're paying somebody to record, or you got a homie
No,
hookup?
I pay.
Okay.
So when it comes to the studio time, I shout out to No Sleeps. That's where I record the last couple projects. That's where I've recorded them. So initially, when I started, it was always about trying to find a studio. And even early on, I tried to make my own home studio.
Mm-hmm.
I bought all the equipment, I bought everything, but I feel like I was just too, at that time, I was just too distracted. I couldn't really get into it. And I kind of felt like, sometimes home life, like real life really it kind of hinders you from your creative process as far as like, kind of thinking and shit and trying to write in the studio. From then on, we just started trying to find a place to record, and I kind of found a home right here at No Sleeps. Good people, and they know how I work. So now whenever I need any kind of studio anything to record, I kind of reach out to them and kind of set it up that way.
That's unique because a lot of creators or artists, they're like even myself, like I have a home studio and
Yeah.
I've never gone to like actually I have gone to a real like a no shit studio, and yeah, I just think that's obviously that's the real way to do it, is to go to a studio, but I've never really recorded, my own stuff and like took the time for my own personal reasons because I'm slow when it comes to making music. So I probably
Yeah.
buy a few hours and not finish a song because I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and it gets pricey too. I mean, yeah, a lot of times when you and that's something I had to learn, as I went on. But sometimes I'd have the same mentality, I'd go in the studio and I'd be like, man, now I think I could finish a song, or my writing process. I'd be like, I kind of started the song, but I have to finish it. And sometimes you just run across a bunch of distractions in the studio or little stuff, side
Hmm.
conversations. And then also it has to do with who you're in there with, the people you bring. You got to get used to the engineer. You got to know when to lock in and get in there. Cause I mean, if you're paying out of pocket, it kind of, you could go 3 hours in the studio and really not get anything done. And you still got to foot the bill. So little by little, it kind of turns into like, well, you got to do the prep work now. Now I see it as like, do the prep work. You go in there and I could finish 5 or 6 songs in one sitting in a couple hours, and then you feel like you got more accomplished, and then leave the mixing and the mastering to the engineer. As long as you get the meat of the song done, you can go back and play with it later on. Yeah, it gets hard when you pay for it, because now you see it more like, well, it's all fully funded, so now you don't have anybody backing you. Like you said, you don't have budgets. You got to create your own budget. So I think over time you kind of get it like, well, it didn't work the first time, so now I got to get back in the studio with a game plan.
So when you use a studio, like, you're more intentional when you go in there, and as time goes on, you get better at becoming more intentional,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can
yeah,
work.
for sure.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, 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 for sure. And then I mean, sometimes you just got to get, like you said, you got to get the creative juices flowing. So sometimes I might not feel if I go in the studio with a purpose to be like, well, I know for sure today I got to record these songs, as opposed to like sometimes you just vibe out in there with certain people. You're like, hey man, y'all come through the studio. You know, people that actually listen to the music, and you kind of want separate ears and separate input to the project or whatever you're working on. So you bring other people, you let them hear you let them hear the instrumentals, you let them hear everything, and you base the vibe off of that, you know, because people hear different things. So if you bring them in there, they might come in like, man, this sounds like such and such could be on this song. Like, you know, just different input from different people,
Yeah.
and it turns into like a more of a creative session than an actual. You know, like, oh, I came in here to record, and that's what we're gonna do. So I think every session has its own. It has its own purpose.
Okay, okay, that's good to hear, that's good to hear. Um, so, like, as far as, like, your influences and people that inspired you, like, shaping your style, like, is there anybody that comes to mind?
Think now, like, I don't think one person in particular just influenced me all the way. I think I pull influence from, to be honest with you, everything, man, from cinema, from music, from sports. I think this hip hop thing isn't necessarily like me personally. Music wise, I grew up listening to all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm from Houston, you know, so I grew up listening to the local stuff. I grew up listening to the East Coast, West Coast, you know, just everything I could consume when I was younger. Everything that influenced me, like different sounds, but I can't pinpoint one person to say like, man,
No, no, no.
I wanna sound like.
Yeah, that makes sense, but I mean, like, so what did you listen to? Like, I know you probably listened to like, I listened to underground hip hop. I grew up listening to, like, Jedi Minds, Immortal Tech, all of the underground heads, Aesop Rock, Benefit, like, some of these guys that nobody even knows, and, AC Alone, but also it's like I was listening to trip hop back in the day, like, I don't know if you
Yeah,
know what trip hop
what's
is,
that?
like
Nah,
Portishead
I
and
don't
stuff.
know what that is.
EDM, I love making EDM right now, so oldies. I used to have a pompadour back in the day.
Hell
So,
yeah, hell yeah. I mean,
yes.
yeah, old these different type of music, like, yeah, I listen to all that. I listen to all your old, your James Brown and your, you know, like the Spanish music. In my house is Spanish
Mhm.
music, so like I said, I pull from all of it. I pull from, you know, Los Temerarios, just or whatever we're listening to. My dad big heavy in the classic rock, you know, your Led Zeppelins, your, you know, Cinderella, like all the heavy metal stuff, the soft ballad stuff, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a music lover in general, you know, your Marty Robbins, old school country, Hank Williams, like, I listen to it
Okay.
all, man. I listen to good music is
Nice.
good music to me, you know? So I
That's
won't necessarily say, you know.
Yeah, that's good, man, because I feel like a lot of, like, if you really wanna expand on your creativity, like, you have to get inspiration from other things besides what you're actually doing, And I think hip hop's a perfect platform for that, is to get inspired by all these different type of genres, and then, like, kinda digest all of that and then, like, shoot it out however you see fit, like, with your own style, because that's where your own style comes from, and you do have your own style. Like, from outside looking in, you sound like an underground hip hop head with a Texas flavor in it, and I had never heard that before, so that's very unique.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I think that's something that is like anything, you know, this hip hop thing is, to me, is it comes from authenticity, right? Like when I grew up listening to it, when I grew up when I really kind of started dialing into the hip hop end of it, like even those guys you named, like Immortal Technique, Jedi Mind Trick, like I don't listen, like I never grew up listening to them, but I know who they are because more than anything, because of their authenticity and their contribution. You know, like there's only a certain amount of artists I feel are the first ones to like say, hey, you know what, this is genuine to me. This is the type of music I want to make. And then it's like anything, it'll spawn different artists that'll come out and be like, hey, you inspired me. So they might be kind of like a subgenre of what they came out. But I think the first ones to dive into it take the flack, and they got to go through the fire for people to be like, to inspire somebody else to be like, hey, well, look, he did it and he has some kind of name for himself. So I think, you know, authenticity is key here to me. You know, like
Mhm.
it's easy for you to sound like another artist, you know, and cookie cut whatever. But if it's
Yeah.
genuine to you, I think it comes through in the music and it comes through to the fans, and that's how you build a community. That's how you build a solid community. To me, they know what they're getting when they come. You know, whatever they when they come mess with you, that they know what they're gonna get.
Yep, exactly, man. And, so you said a lot there. I think there was a lot of advice Like, if somebody were to just watch this, like, right off the back, like, you've already given a lot of value, man, but is there anything that like, for someone that's trying to pursue something very similar to what you're pursuing, is there any advice that you would give them?
Shit, keep at it, and really be yourself. I think it depends on the artist and what they want out of it too. I think everybody has different end goals for this. You know, they have different reasons why they get into it. You know, some of
Uh-huh.
them, they might be like, they see it as a, a way to monetize. They might be like, man, I have talent, I want to monetize off of it. And then you got other people who they have different reasons. My reason might be different from an artist coming up. So if I tell you like, man, don't go sign that deal, or don't go do this, or don't. It's hard for me to give advice because I'm still going through it myself. So I might see it from a different set of eyes. Me personally, I want to own, not necessarily own all the way. This game is exploited. Any entertainment business, you're gonna get exploited. The whole thing is just keep it to a minimum if you can, because then it turns into these people are gonna grab a hold of your art, and they're gonna kind of hold you hostage, and basically they're infringing on your ideas. So my whole thing is, it depends on the artist. What do you want to do? If you're looking for the fame, or the fame brings different set of eyes, so it brings in more money if you're looking to monetize, or do you really want the freedom that comes with like your art? Like, hey, I want to make this type of music. This is the type of music I love, but I want to own it. Then there's two different routes you're gonna take. So I mean, best advice I could give them is just keep at it, keep at it and try to figure it out as you go.
Yeah, figuring it out, like, I think that's a very underrated statement because you do have to figure a lot of things out. I actually had not a podcast, a conversation with one of my friends, and we recorded it and put it on YouTube, about we have to ask our teams. So this is my advice for anybody that's, kind of pursuing the music scene, um, or going hard at it for whatever reason they have. You have to define success. Like, what does like you said, like, everybody's at a different level, and also the reason why they're in it is for different reasons. So, as an artist, you do have to define what you want out of this, whether it be the fame, whether it be, monetization, making money from it. And I would say, like, don't trying to make sure I say this in the right way so it doesn't get said in the wrong way. Don't be shy about wanting to make money out of your creativity. So
Nah.
the reason why I say that is because the studio time costs money, the mic costs money, the MPC, whatever you use costs money, your laptop, Logic Pro, Ableton, all of these things, it costs money. And you're investing your time into this stuff. So don't be shy about trying to get paid when it comes to it. Just learn, I would say, learn how to receive money from certain
Yeah.
avenues of monetization, but don't be like, "Oh, $1,000 a feature," and bro, you have like two listeners on Spotify, and you have like 300 followers on
Yeah.
subscribers, and then like you're telling this to somebody that has 10,000 followers and has actually invested more money and more time into this craft. You have to know what you're putting yourself into before you get into it. Don't still want to get paid, but you have to figure it out on how you're going to do that, and then put in the work, put in the time to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think initially, even me when I started off, and it would come to the features, and it would come to like, hey, we want you to get on this song. And initially, I would treat it like, me in my own head, I'd be like, I wouldn't think of it like that. Like, I spent this much, and that was just initially. But then as time went on, I was like, you know what? I am investing in the studio time. I'm investing in certain things, and you got to look at it from the perspective of, it's like anything is like a business transaction. If you reach out to me and say, "Well, hey, I want to get you on this project," we got to see how it benefits both of us,
Both
right?
of you.
Unless I mean, it doesn't have to be like that completely, but I mean, with people that just come along, like other things that are organic and they feel good and they feel right and they're linked up through other people, everything has its way of going. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You got to learn how to get some money back, because if not, you're gonna basically. And I mean, people have hobbies, man. People go golfing, people go you fishing, they spend money on that. But this type of hobby, that's why I said you got to know what you're doing it for, right? Because if I wasn't spending money on the studio time, if I wasn't a rapper, chances are I'd be spending money on whatever I like doing. Like I said, fishing,
Mhm.
golfing, whatever, hunting, whatever. But this game's a little bit trickier because there is a way to monetize off of it, and then eventually. But I think you got to do it for the right reason. Like I said, I'm not chasing money off of this. Like I really ain't. Like I think it'll cloud your artistry. It'll cloud, like, that's just me personally.
Mhm.
it'll cloud, like, obviously, I try to make sound business decisions, like, because I have to budget my own stuff, like, but I don't think me personally, I'm not chasing the money for this. I think it'll
No,
affect the art
that's
too
good.
much.
You shouldn't chase the money when it comes to your creativity because the world, the value that you give out to the world, right? You're get money comes to you if you provide enough value. So if your music is good, like your merch, and people actually listen to your music and value your music, and they're like, man, I want that merch that you have. Like you didn't chase, you're not chasing for that. You're just given the opportunity for somebody to support you. And
Oh, yeah,
so
100%.
there's a quote that I really like. I don't remember who said it. I'm gonna have to put it in my show notes, but you can tell what is it? You can measure the size of the man by the size of the problems that he solves. And if music can solve the world's problems or a lot of people's problems, you didn't chase it. You're pursuing what you love, and then the money comes to you because based off how much value you give out to the world. So I think you're 100% correct
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
You're not people that chase the money first, they don't understand that concept, and therefore their value is very low
Yeah, for sure.
or low
And I think a
enough to
lot of
not
these,
make
like,
money.
yeah, yeah, to not want to make it. And I feel me young, I feel like one of the main, so I started rapping later on. Like, I'm a little bit on the old, like, on the older side of jumping into the rap thing. Like, I didn't start rapping when I've always loved it and I've always wanted to chase it. Like, I've always had a love for this rap thing, for this hip hop shit. I think a lot of times though I was just too caught up, like, living life to say, I want to pursue this. But once I did jump in it, I was like, well, shit, this thing comes with a lot of, it comes with a lot of, like, it's not as easy as people make it seem. So
Mhm.
when it comes to that, like, as far as monetizing off of it, I feel like I feel like I got taught a lesson early on in life, like me personally, like seeing what money does. Like me and the people, I was blessed enough to survive a lot of shit to where I saw a lot of, like, monetary transactions to how people act, people that you think wouldn't do certain things. So you don't
Mhm.
put it past, I don't put it past anybody when it comes to, like money things. So now I think jumping in this game, I think that's why I was like, you know what, I want to own, or I want the majority of this thing to belong to me. I said, because I already know what comes with the money issue. I said, if I make one good song and it catapults me, and I've never had any type of money run through my hands, I said, man, I'm setting myself up for failure, because I'm gonna have the illusion of certain things that I've never touched. And me being younger and being through what I've been through, I think it kind of set me up for to try to get in this. And if God willing, I were to touch any kind of money or monetize off of it, I think I'd have the mindset a little bit different and be like, hey, well, you know what? I think I know what to do,
Yeah,
with it, or how to go.
the maturity level of a lot of people, you know, we all take L's, right? And as time goes on, we learn how to absorb them and like grow from them. But the other side of it is sometimes you don't know how to take views and you mess up.
Mhm.
Sometimes things can go so well and you don't know how to win at this level. That kind of happened to me a lot like years ago with on the real estate side. Like I bought a home thinking I was gonna be able to rent it out, equity in Portland, it just stayed the same. And I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna sell. And I already invested money, into the
Right.
house to rent it out. And then boom, like I'd have to take that L and just grow from it. But now I know, and now I'm wiser.
Oh yeah.
So my next move is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and
So
you're already gonna know where you stumbled on the first time.
exactly, exactly. And that's at every level, like every level of life. That could be in your relationship level or arena, you know, relationships with other creators arena, or music or anything.
Yeah.
So, honestly, bro, like, people can get butthurt or not, but if there's anything that you can change in the music scene, what would it be? And
I
I can give
mean,
mine
like I
first. I
said,
can give mine first if you want.
go ahead, go ahead. Let me hear what you want to
Okay.
change.
So I would say know who you're talking to when you're speaking to people that you can possibly collab with or working, like doing some sort of business with. Like leave the ego at the door, stay humble, but don't tuck your tail between your legs. Just be you, be a respectful individual and be professional. Yeah, bro. Like just be professional when you're talking to certain people that you're trying to work with because it sucks. And the music game, it has enough of the shadiness and griminess and all of these things, dishonorable things. So just as a music community, especially in the hip hop community, like become a little more professional at certain things.
For sure.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the only thing.
shit, 1,000, yeah. 1,000%, man, 1,000%. Yeah, you gotta know who you're talking to. You gotta know who you're dealing with. As far as like me and the music thing, I want to say it's just, and like you said, I don't know how to say it the wrong way, but it's certain trends, right? I would love for it to go back to like just now the stigma is that you don't need talent. And that's a sad thing for that's just, hip hop's outlasted disco, it's outlasted heavy metal, it's outlasted a lot of genres that aren't here anymore. You get what I'm saying? And the thing about it is it's still evolving, it's still growing, but you don't want to completely get away from the essence of what this hip hop thing is, right? So now the stigma is like, hey, and it's just the time we live in. I'm not saying it's completely whatever, but now you gotta learn like algorithms, you gotta learn content, you gotta learn, which is fine. It's the game we're playing, right? But I think at the core of it, I mean, this thing was based on talent. You get what I'm saying? Back on the music I came up listening to, you couldn't skate your way through not having enough talent. You wouldn't have lasted, right? And I think now the generation coming up hears that and they're like, oh shit, well, I don't need talent. I just need a viral moment. I just need this. So it turns into more gimmicky. They're like, well, let me try to do this. Let me try to, and it takes away completely from the music, but you still want to label yourself as a rapper or hip hop or and it kind of puts a stain on the culture that we're trying to preserve, like moving forward for the ones who really fuck with it. And I think that's why it's, if I could get away with anything, I'd get away with that, with all the gimmicky stuff, a trend or like, oh, this is what's hot right now. Shit, you got to make something like that. And if it does, you got to try to, yeah, that's the only thing I'd probably go ahead and change.
Yeah, if you're trying to follow a trend, then you're already riding someone else's tailcoat. And
Yeah.
if you're trying to do this to become viral and you think that that's going to happen, look at the last viral video or think of the last viral video that you have made if you're a viewer watching this and see if you remember them. And then see who you remember if you listen to music, see who you remember and who are you a fan of? Who do you really like? I'm pretty sure that individual put in a lot of work to make sure that they are remembered in your head. But the person that went viral
Yeah.
by doing a dance with some music, like unless if it's like Little Boozy or something, like that's the only dancing rapper that I can think of right now. But I can name off a lot of other guys that have put in the time and the legwork and the performances and shows and stuff like that that you're gonna remember. So don't try to just go
Oh, yeah,
viral.
for sure. No, no, no. If it it's like anything. It's like you said, coming back to chasing the money thing. I think it's the same thing with this hip hop thing. Like with this rap thing. Like I try not to. And those are internal conversations I have with my team too. Like people that we come around. They're like, hey man, we might want to think about making a song like this. We might want to think. And I don't. I'm not close minded to it, right? Because I
Mhm,
mean, nobody ever does this thing by themselves. Like any successful artist they have to have input. And you got to
mhm.
learn how to take it too. You can't take it like, hey, this is my thing and it's my way or the highway. For the most part, I want to say like, hey, well, this thing belongs to me. I started it, whatever. But it's the people you bring around and be like, what do you think about this? And I'm not opposed to somebody telling me like, nah, I don't think that's gonna work. And be like, okay, if I feel strongly enough that it will, I'll still pursue it. And if not, I'll be like, why do you think it's not gonna work? Give me your point of view. And then we talk about it, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, I won't be like, if they come with an idea to say, man, you need to do this or like something real super gimmicky, I'm gonna be like, nah, that's not happening. I'll be like, I don't think that's what we do here. Like we're
I'm
trying to
not
grow
doing
it
a stinky leg for you,
organically.
bro.
I'm not doing, yeah, hey, pretty much. I'm not doing some off the wall shit. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Right. And even if they're like, but look at this kid, he did it and look, he has 1 million followers. And I'm like, hey, that's fine, man. Let him, hey, more power to him. Like he has to look for his next viral moment. I'll be like, because he has to, those 1 million people that he brought there, how's he gonna keep them there? How you
Yeah,
gonna keep them? Once you bring them
yep,
to your page, how do you keep them there? And that's kind of
exactly.
like, even how you gonna keep them there? Shit, you gotta keep it, you gotta keep them there with authenticity and being, like you said, being genuine, being real. No smoke and mirrors.
Exactly. When it comes to so I like your music videos, especially like I'm always very intrigued by independent artists' music videos. And because I'm a videographer, photographer, and I love cameras. So my
Yeah.
question to you would be, can you tell me about like your best music video? Like how did it come about?
Why? Like the best one, I mean, I think that's all,
Taste?
that's gonna be up to yeah, because me personally, like my favorite video might not be somebody else telling me like, man, that's a good video. But my
Your favorite video
personal
though.
favorite video would probably My favorite video is probably Factor and the Fixture, maybe. I think Factor and the Fixture or God's Design off my first project, and Factor and the Fixture was off my second one. And there's two
Okay.
different people shot them. I shot the God's Design video out there in Los Angeles. Shout out to Mark Ford, with DMT. Actually, Victor, a mutual acquaintance of ours, he put me on with him the first time I went out there to Los Angeles. He's like, hey, if you need a video guy out here, he's like, I have somebody. And I linked up with him, and he was real professional. I didn't know he rapped at the time. When he got there, he didn't. And that's even more cool about him because he didn't come in like, hey, I rap too. Because I'm like, I didn't hire you to rap. I hired. I'm paying you money to shoot the video. Because there are some
Yeah.
people, producers, videographers that still want to be artists, and you're like, that's cool, more power to you, but that's not what this transaction's about. And
Yeah.
he shot the video, and it came out good, man. It came out real good. And Factor and Official was here locally, Young Elder. He's my shooter. He shoots most of my stuff, and I feel like it was a real bright video. I feel like he got the concept right, and we kind of, we put it together good. So
Okay, so do you guys
I
make
think
a
those two.
storyboard, or you guys
No,
kinda
we
just come
don't.
up
We
with
don't
it?
make not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet because we do have certain that we throw it out there more like, hey man, what if you and this might be me in my head too much, but sometimes I'm like, man, I think we could shoot a video and it might have a storyline to it. It could have this, it could have that. And sometimes it kind of just fizzles out and they'll be like, hey, well, I don't see it. Cause I've seen certain artists try to do it. And I hate to say it, man, but it don't look right. It comes out kind of cornyish, and I'm like, I don't want to look like that. I'd be like, it's not that I'm in my head, but I'm like, can we pull it off? I'd be like, and I think to this day I haven't tried to pull something like that off, but I know we have it in us. I think the song just needs to be the right song to try to shoot like an actual storyline. And so for the most
Okay,
part,
okay.
they're running gun video. They're running
That
gun
dude, I
video.
love running guns. I love that idea. That's how I shoot my videography. It's honestly running gun. I try to come up with like a location, and then once I'm there, I'm like, okay, how can I do something that I want to do? And it's not in the music scene. It's more just my own personal little things that I like to do. But yeah,
Yeah,
man,
hell
running
yeah.
guns are. I think they're the funnest because I love exploring. And you can't really plan stuff when you're just exploring. You just know that on the way through the journey, you're gonna come across
You're gonna
something
run
in it.
into something nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. And a lot of times that is right. Just pick the location, and we end up being like, hey, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Let's shoot right here. Or this looks. But every once in a while, we will start off with the actual location. Be like, where do you want to shoot this? And we be like, hey, well, I know this spot over here in the city. I know this. And as far as like me, like even off the new project, I shot a video in New York. Right, I got with New Vegas Films. He shoots a lot of good artists, a lot of dope artists. And my homeboy AD put me on with him. We were up there in New York, and he's like, "Oh, you be willing to shoot a video out here?" I was like, "Oh yeah, 100%." I said, "It's not all the time. It's like I like filming on location, right? So it's like me that shows growth to me as a personal as an artist. I'm like, man, I have that under my belt. Like you said, I treat all of this like an investment. So I'm showing my community that's like, hey man, I've been to Los Angeles. I came out of pocket because I wanted y'all to see a vision, like for this song shot right here in LA. I want y'all to see a vision for this song shot in New York. Oh, and to me, it's like I don't see it as like when my money's spent on certain thing with the music, I treat it like I used to treat it back in the day. I'm like, hey, that money gone, man. Let's figure out how to get it back somehow. But hey, this money's gone. I treat it like, hey, we're gonna present it to my community or the people that are still following me to be like, hey, look, man, we shot this on location, and in a sense, it's like they get to see you grow as an artist. So
Mhm.
nothing's too to me, nothing will be too big anymore because I'll be like, I've shot on location outside in a different city, all independent. So I'm like, hey, bigger budgets. Hopefully, if God willing, if they come one day, you can expand on that like storyboards with a different
Yeah.
director, and you won't be overwhelmed by the moment. So this is like a grassroots thing, kind of spreading out as far as the videos go.
Yeah, and if you, ever have any questions, like, if you ever, like, wanna just shoot ideas, my way as well, man, just to, like, give you an outside looking in, because for one, I'm all the way in Hawaii, so, yeah, I'm kinda far, so I have a different vibe out here, so my feelings and my perception might be different, but if you ever just wanna ask, like, "What do you think about this, man?" And I can tell you, or I can say, like, "Yeah, that's dope, like, what you're doing is already dope." Just because I feel like having a yes man and I'm not saying that you have a yes man in your crew. I'm saying, but I like no man. I like somebody saying that's not a good idea because before you spend money on something, you need somebody to like give you that sobering moment. So I
Yeah,
actually love when people say make this tweak, make this like change this up or
man, I got a bunch, man. My camp full of no men.
Perfect,
They're
bro. Then you
mostly
have
the
a good
people I
camp.
bring around me. Not the company I keep around me, like my brother-in-laws. They always anything I post. But I know they genuinely. I mean, they got genuine love for me, but they always fuck with me. And my brother-in-law always be like, man, this and that. He'll be the first one to comment, and I'll be like, man, I'll be like, let me make it. And he'll tell me, he'll be like, somebody got to keep you humble. He'll be like, now
Mhm.
you're gonna get out of control. But and I tell him all the time, I go, yeah, I know. I said that's what you're here for, you know. Him and another close friend of mine, they're always like, man, you look like this, but deep down inside, I know they just do it to kind of, they'll be like, don't get too big headed, which I don't see, that's not part of my personality, not my demeanor. But still, they tell me like, they try to downplay everything, not too
Yeah.
much, but they'll be like,
Bro,
they'll
my
be like,
my
that ain't
wife is that
shit.
person.
To tell you calm down.
Dude, I'll
They'll be
be
like, it
like
ain't shit.
3 hours in the studio, like, making, like, some Afro house track or something, like, trying to put some lyrics on it, like, some singing, and then she's like, "No, this is not gonna be good." Like, straight up, and I'm like, "Fuck." So,
I'll be like, it
I
sounded pretty good
delete
to
it.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but it's good to keep people like that kind of in your corner. Not, I mean, it depends. If I feel strongly about something, I mean, every once in a while, I like hearing like some for somebody to be like, hey, you need some research, like, hey, yeah, that sounds good, like a little pat on the back, like, yeah, that was pretty
Mhm.
dope, or that sounds good, or that instrumental sounds good, or this and that. But every once in a while, yeah, you do need people to be like, nah, that ain't it, man. You got to stop that, or you got to stop doing that, or you did that last time, because if not, you're gonna stop growing as an artist.
Yeah, exactly, and you do have to evolve, and sometimes the vision only you know that vision, and, if you're evolving and your music is still evolving and, being innovative, and I say this often, that's where you wanna be, is constantly evolving and, being innovative with your sound because you grow as time goes, you grow, you get wiser,
Oh yeah,
you get better, and
life.
your life experience exactly, all of it.
Yeah, you kind of sprinkle it into the music. It's
Uh-huh.
like some of the earlier like I don't if you listen to my music, man, it's a lot of I mean, there's hip hop at the core of it, but I mean it's like a certain genre. I kind of consider like street rap, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of it, a lot of people were like, and they even now they start asking, they're like, all right, well, I know you could rap. Like that's not a question you rap and be like, but now you have to put together a song. Be like, do you think you could put together this type of song? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. I'm like, the only thing is, and I won't say it's not with this group, but a lot of times doors open up for you and you don't know who you might end up in the studio with one day, right? And then a lot of what I noticed in this game, in the small time I've been doing it, is that some of these rooms aren't that hard to get into, right? It's just what you do when you get in the room. And if you're willing to shut your brain off a little bit and listen to what kind of game they give you, like, hey, why don't you try to structure the song this way from somebody who's already done it? Me, I'm
Uh-huh.
a big kind of like, I'm a big believer in like taking advice from people who've done it. Right, I'd be like,
Mhm.
if you haven't done it and you're telling me and you're trying to do it too, I might brush you off like, man, well, why don't you do it for yourself? I'll be like, you're telling me how to do it, but do it for yourself.
Yeah, 1,000. When you say, like, street rap, like, is there any other I would say, like, street rap artists that, you really fuck with that you like?
Well, I grew up on a lot of times people don't believe me, man. They really don't. When I tell them like a lot of the new stuff, I don't listen to it because I just don't want it to like I just don't want to. I don't go dig. I don't do deep dives on anybody. Like the artists that are out now. If I hear a song and I'm like, man, that's pretty dope. And if I do a semi dive, I might get a couple. If they make it
Well,
into
what's
the
the what's
shuffle,
the what's the old ones? Like, is there any older, like
oh yeah. Your Scarface to me, he's from the city. It kind of showed me, you don't necessarily have to embody what the stigma of the city, because our city's known, we have a strong culture here in Houston, and it is what it is,
mhm,
the drink, the swangers, all that. And I grew up on that, the DJ Screws, like I love that. That shit's in my heart forever. But Scarface didn't come out, he didn't come out rapping the same way a lot of the rappers at that time, even the ones that came out after him, and they were putting on for the city real heavy.
mhm.
And he kind of showed me that it's you could talk that street shit, or you could even enlighten people sometimes, and it'll cross the state lines. Like it can be bigger. Now, if you
Yeah,
go to New
yeah.
York, the West Coast, everybody knows Scarface. Everybody know the Ghetto Boys because of the type of music they came out, because it was authentic. So I think that'd be probably the biggest. I mean, street rap. That your Jay Z's. I take pieces of all of them. Like that to me is like, even on the West Coast, all that MC8. Your Spice Ones, and everything
Okay,
that came out of California, your Cubes, your Dre's, all that. That's the kind of rap. The Too Shorts. Those are the old school rappers I came up listening to. Like as far as it goes, like street rap.
okay.
Your Mob
I was
Deeps.
Yeah, I remember, Mr. Magic?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. Magic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Magic. My first rap song that I've listened to growing up, I was, like, probably, like, between, like, 8 to 11, I think, it was Mr. Magic. Then I got involved in, like, and I was in Vegas, No Limit Soldiers compilations, like Master P's and Mystical, all of that, and then it started that's when I started discovering, like, who else was that during that time? It was all No Limit, man. No Limit, Snoop Dogg. You know, I was introduced to Snoop Dogg when he was with No Limit, which is weird, and I was
Oh,
on the
okay,
West Coast.
okay.
And then
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
there, I started getting into, like, all of the underground shit, like, Necro, like I
See, I've
already
heard of Necro. Like I've heard of Necro. You see, like I heard of Necro through the instrument. Like back in the day, I used to try to like find instrumentals to just to rap to or just to vibe out to. And you see, like even then, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people might not have heard of Necro, but like I have pretty good memory retainage. I think is so when I hear certain names like that, like Necro and Jedi Mind Tricks, and like I've listened that at least lets people know that I've listened to it. I might not have
Mhm.
done a deep dive, and I can't say I'm like a super fan, but their name holds enough weight in this community, in this hip hop community, for somebody from down south Houston, Texas, to know who they are. So that
Yeah,
lets you know the impact that they have.
absolutely. He's probably gonna be fall, like, at least in the underground community, as one of the 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 most like, the one of the best. I think he's underrated still to this day when it comes to production. Even though he's been
Yeah,
a legend, he's still underrated. I'm a super fan of underground hip hop, even though I get pissed off at it and I have a lot to say about it, and yeah, I'm not a rap I can rap and I do rap, but that's not, like, my main thing. I was doing that years ago, but I would say I'm more of a fan than I am a hip hop artist, and
yeah.
I think that Necro is just so underrated with his production. I think he's inspired people, and they just don't like to say it. They don't like to say that, he's inspired other producers, or other producers don't like to like, give him his flowers. Like, we're so hard on that. Like, we're so hard as men to give people their
Oh
flowers when they're
yeah.
fucking alive.
Especially in this hip hop thing, man. This thing is based on ego. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This thing is at the essence of hip hop. It's a big competition.
Yep.
See it one way or the other, but you man, that's the essence of it. You
Mhm.
know, they're gonna be like, "I'm a better rapper, I'm a better producer,"
As it
and if
should
you
be.
try to tell people as it should be, but if you tell somebody like, "Hey, you kinda sound like this," the other person might be like, "Nah, I never heard of him. I don't know who that is," even though they might have been influenced by it. So for them to like that's why I won't completely dismiss anybody. If you
Mhm.
tell me somebody and I've heard their music, then they had a small piece of influence on me. You know, if
Mhm.
I could listen through the whole song, I can't completely wipe it out and dismiss it and be like, "Nah, I never listened to him. He had no influence on me." You know, but a lot this game, that's what it comes with. It's a lot of ego.
Some of the most successful ones, though, had humility, and their ego, and
You
their
gotta have
and their skills.
oh yeah.
That's what I love about real hip
You
hop. You
gotta know
have
when
to
to
actually
turn
be
it
dope.
on. You gotta know when to turn on you gotta know how to turn it all on. If you wanna be braggadocious, there's no way you could go inside a booth and have full confidence in yourself, rapping the way you rap, rapping about the stuff you rap. But that don't mean that you could come out and, just kinda live your just live it all the way through. If you meet somebody, you gotta be humble. This life will humble you on its own, coming and trying to fucking life will humble you fucking quick. So there's no point of you being that type of artist. Me personally,
Mhm.
and that's why I kind of like I reach back out to everybody or everybody who tries to, whatever. I feel like it's me part of building my community. If you reach out to me and we don't even have to talk about rap, it could be about normal everyday shit that
Yeah.
I go through myself.
Nice, man, nice. The last thing I would ask, man, is, your projects. What do you got going on now going forward from where you're at now? Like, what are you doing now?
So I'm dropping Delusions of Grandeur. This is my third full length project, fully produced by Mr. Sizzles. He's a producer here in Houston. I've worked with him before on my first two projects, From the Cradle to the Table and Homegrown. He took part. He kind of had a hand in both of them, producing. But this one, we kind of locked in and made good amount of tracks, all fully produced by him, and that's dropping this month coming up. And I feel like it's a good body of work. Like I got even people now, they're like, well, I feel even the previous projects, they're like, you could have dropped more visuals. You can. I said those are always there to go back to. I don't think, I think this style of music that I make, I feel it's not a like a flash in the pan type of music. So you can go back to my first project and you might hear a song that sounds like I recorded it last week just because of how in tune I am with my style and how in tune I am with myself as an artist. Not saying there's not room to grow, but that's the type of artist I am. And I feel like on this project we kind of try to move just a little bit. We kind of try to make a different type of songs, but we still have at the core like the artistry from the first two albums,
Yeah,
but
the
this one's
foundation.
maybe the foundation's there, but I think the production helped a lot. New beats, new everything.
Okay, okay. Was there anything like in this project like that you can point out that you feel like I would say I know the production's there. Like did you change the angle of the beats? Are they like just outside looking in, underground
Yeah,
sound,
I think there were
you know what I mean? Like
I think yeah, I think well he tried to I think Sizzles he understood when we were in there because I mean we worked on this over the course of like 8 months, 9 months. It wasn't anything fast, and we kind of knew it wasn't going to be,
uh
because I told him I'm like, man, I might wake up tomorrow and I might not feel like writing to that grimy shit. I might want a little bounce to it, I'd be like today I might feel a little bit different, I might have heard something in the car that kind of inspired me, and be like, and I'll send it to him and I'll be like, hey, have you heard this song? I'll be like, you think you could whip up something like your own rendition similar to this? I'd be like, because I'm listening to it and I feel like I could get busy with a beat like this. So I think it took us a while, depending on the mood we were in. You got your soul drumless stuff in there. You got your hard bass shit in there. Like you got all kinds of production, and I feel
okay,
like he did a good job. So it forced me to adjust my writing to it. So I was like,
nice,
different beat, different pockets, different cadence, and I think it'll show on the project.
nice, man. I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Is it gonna be on your website, the project, like to buy?
Yeah, I'm dropping it. Me being an independent artist, like you said, we gotta try to find ways to monetize off this thing, right? And it's like I feel I've built my community enough to where and I've been doing slow rolls. I kind of been testing it out, but I feel like now it's time if I put it out to be like, hey, I'm dropping my project for, X amount of dollars, be like, man, if y'all want to support it, eventually it'll be on all the streaming platforms.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think as an independent artist, I think that's the go-to way is to try to recoup as much as you can from what you put in to try to see something back for it. Because in essence, all that money is gonna go back to the next project, or you're gonna spend that money, whatever people pay for the merch, for whatever people pay for the project, you're gonna turn around and just dump it back into the music. It's like a revolving cycle of just investing the money back. So I feel if you drop it on the streaming platforms, I think nowadays, and I've seen it myself because I drop everything on the streaming platforms, like the to monetize is not there. You have to
Mhm.
have certain things in place, certain machines in place for you to get paid off the streaming, like to
Yeah,
make any kind of real money.
yeah.
And I think direct to consumer is the way for the independent artists,
Mhm.
now, like, obviously with bigger budgets come bigger rollouts, bigger everything. But for right now, this scale is gonna be direct to consumer, maybe for like a month, and try to promote it and push it, push the visuals, push the merchandise, push the marketing, and then see what you make out of it. And when you feel you squeezed enough of the fucking lemon, you know what I'm saying? Fucking nigga, drop the slice in the motherfucking water and just
Mhm.
let the
That's
people have it. But
so
try to
what
squeeze it
where would they
first.
get it? Where would they get it? Like, 'cause I wanna get it. I wanna know where can I listen to it?
So I might upload it on either through Bandcamp or I might upload it through a different one. So it depends. I have to do a little bit of digging throughout
Okay.
the next couple weeks to see where I'm gonna drop it. Like as far as like direct to consumer through my website, I can't do it. Like dopefordollars.com, I can't. And I'm pretty sure there's a way to direct them through there. And I'm gonna figure out eventually how to drop the merch on there, how to drop. Those are talks I gotta have with with our
Yeah,
mutual acquaintance to be
our
like,
homie.
how do we set this up? And
Mhm.
and he's been, and big shout out to him, man, because he's been there throughout the whole process, and he kind of gives me game. Like game that's invaluable to me. Like I said, if you have something you can bring to the table, I'll always be all ears for it, and I'll be like, well, let's see how we can make it work. So I would like to have a one stop shop, like to where people could just go straight through the website and they could find everything. So I still got to tweak that. But if not, it's either on Bandcamp or Big Cartel, something where I can
Okay.
monetize off and keep the majority of the lion's share of whatever the consumer pays.
Absolutely, and actually, I'm gonna be on a call with him, like, at 6 p.m. my time. So, he's gonna help me build my website's already built, and it looks good, but he wants to help me build it. I'm like, "Oh, fuck," like, what am I not doing right, you know? Because he said it looks good, and I'm like, "Yeah, it looks good." Like, I like the way that I'm doing it, but I feel like he's about to tell me something
Yeah.
that is gonna make it better. So, definitely
Yeah.
reach out to him. He will take a call with you and help you out, bro. He fucks with you. He
Oh,
fucks
no,
with you
yeah,
heavy.
100%. I went yeah. I already know, man. When I went out there to Los Angeles, that was with me, him, and his brother. His brother was out there. I forgot his
Mhm.
name slips my mind, but we were all out there and we got to talking, and I think it was the same thing. Like initially, when you meet somebody for the first time, you kind of gotta want to feel the vibe of how the person is, right? And I think initially, like him and his brother were kind of like, well, let's see what how you really are. But I think once we sat down and we got to really talking, and we kind of understood what we were both on, and I'm like, it's like you said, man, leave the ego at the door and be like, I'm here for a certain amount. If we could help each other, I'm all for it. So yeah, man, shout out to Vic, man, from underground hip hop, like, man, that's good people.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely put it like it needs to be on your site because like I'll still get it from Bandcamp, but I feel like there needs to be a way to just go to your site and buy that shit. You know what I mean? Like just fucking press click and then boom, it's in your I'm downloading it, I'm bumping it. That's how I'm trying to do my shit too. I don't know how to do it yet, and hopefully he's gonna tell me how to do things. I
Yeah,
wanted like a little X feed, like a little Twitter thing on my site where it kind of like let's say I follow Akai or NPC and like Native Instruments, and then like they make a tweet. I wanted to
yeah,
like kind of hit like you know what I mean? Like I wanted to show on my site like up to news dates,
yeah,
but
yeah,
for
yeah.
like the music shit, like Fujifilm and all the little bullshit that I like doing. And, I don't know how to do that, but I think he's gonna help me with that. So, like, he's gonna hook it up, man.
No, no, no. Yeah, he for sure is. Because when he was explaining to me, he's like, you can do it, man. You can sit down. And this last time, man, shout out shout out to him, man, because he uploaded. He saw that my website was just, and me, the type of person I am. I'm like, I know me as an artist. At first, I used to say, "Man, Imma do everything by myself," right? And I'd be like, "Imma do everything by myself," but then it turns into like, "Man, I can't do everything by myself." So a lot of times I do need, like, certain people, even like you say, you gotta be professional. I've seen it from my own personal experience where me as a rapper try to reach out to another rapper to inquire about a feature, and even the way they reply to me, I'm like, "Yeah, they're not seeing it as a professional transaction," as opposed to when I send, like, somebody else and they write a professional all the way and they get a different response. And I'm like, okay, then they're probably see it like two street motherfuckers trying to work something out, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
both
yeah.
on, they're kind of like iffy, like, hey, who's gonna get fucked out of here? Like that's how
Yeah.
I see it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because me, the way I talk and the way I type, I mean, you see how I type when I go back and forth. But that's just me being genuine. I think my experience comes from when we actually talk, and like even these type of meetings and conversations, you get a little bit more feeling to how I really am, so
Yeah,
it don't
yeah.
get misconstrued in the text or the messages or anything.
Yeah, man, and that's why I wanted you on too because I love your music because I'm from Houston. Like, I have like, a soft spot in my heart for Houston, you know? And I also love underground hip hop. So, like, where's the happy medium? And you are that happy medium. So, yeah, bro.
Appreciate
I
it.
That's why I was like, I appreciate you taking this call and letting people hear how you actually talk, how you actually are, and like just through
Yeah.
casual conversation, because the music's one thing, sounds good. That's why I like it, but having these conversations for creators and artists it's a good thing. I think it's necessary going forward, like 2026 and on.
But yeah, and I think I mentioned something about that last time, like, man, don't meet some of these guys, man, because this I won't say no names, but I've met certain artists, that I kind of like. I've listened to their music before and I've seen it. So you have a certain perspective of what the artist is like. And then when you get in the room with them and the whole thing is off, and you're just like, I'll be like, damn, man, I wish I wouldn't have met you. I'd be like, because now I can't see you the same. I'm not gonna your music don't hit the same for me anymore. And I think like my strong suit is in things like this and personal like personal meetings. If we get in a room together, like you'll see that I'm authentic about everything. Like I don't really, I'm pretty blunt with my shit, but I'm
Mhm.
super respectful. Like I'm super
Yeah.
respectful when it comes to certain shit because I know how it goes when it's the opposite of it. So with me, I
Yeah,
try
bro.
to, yeah. So that shit don't work out for nobody, especially in this game. You're in the entertainment business. You're here to kind of move it forward. So you're gonna attract more with honey than anything else.
Yeah, man. You said it perfectly. So, people in this game, like I have so many friends that I've lost before I joined the Marine Corps just through like hood shit and driving people to freaking hospitals and stuff like after bullet wounds, you know? And I really
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like that type of confrontation, and that's why I joined the Marines just to get out of that situation. And I learned, like, the Marine Corps will humble you, and I learned to, like, stay away from all of that. That's why I don't wanna go back to Vegas. I'd rather be nomadic, like, talking about the Sprinter van, and just traveling and stuff like that, and, just surround yourself with good people, and, I think, you'll go a long way if you just keep surrounding yourself with good people, staying away from the bad ones, and the truth will always come out when, like, you've experienced with artists, or whoever it may be, not even artists, just anybody, the truth will always come out by who you are. So I think people can leave from this interview, like, with all of the value that you already gave, and that as well. Just be a humble, good
Nah,
person.
yeah, just keep it humble, keep it humble. I mean, stop. And then some of the people that I have met, I mean, but it lets me know it's possible because some other artists that I have met, they've been super humble and they kind of they don't have ego as far as like putting you up on game. When they see you're hustling and they've been through the same hustle, it kind of gives them a little, it's like each one teach one. As I teach, I learn. Like I mean,
Yeah,
as I learn, I teach. If I learn something, I'm teaching it to the next person. I don't hold game back and be like, "Oh, you might pass me up." Like my course is running on its own, so there's no need for me to knock you down. If I have something that helped me out and you come ask me about it, I'll gladly give it to you. Be like, man, do with it what you will, because I'll be like, because that somebody told me about it. Because I've been in places where guys have been like, "You want me to give you some advice? I'll give you some advice as far as like how to MC. Hey, you turn your back too much. Hey, don't do that with the mic. Don't do that." And this is people that have been seasoned on stage. Gems like that I take in and I'm like, all right, I'll implement it next time. So it's like a flip side. This game's full of characters, full of ego, different people. So you gotta know that you're gonna run into the people that when you meet them, you're like, I fuck the whole vibe is off, and then you're gonna meet in
mhm,
the people that were like, man, you're genuine, just like I thought you were. And that the genuine people are the ones that are when they call on you for something, you feel more inclined to help them out on their journey. Be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I got you 1,000%. And I feel like this is how my community personally is gonna grow.
heck yeah. All right, bro. Well, is there any last words that you wanna give to the viewers on anything that we've already talked about or anything that you wanna reemphasize before we let you go? Music, project, reemphasize that, new project, anything
New
at all?
project. Yeah, new project, Delusions of Grandeur. I had it scheduled for 2/24 this month
Okay.
coming up. Maybe I push it back a week because something happened a couple days ago. So, but it's coming out either if not this month, early March. It's all set to go. And I mean, DFDBabyLee, dollars.com, man. Y'all follow me. And I think this for upcoming artists, upcoming creators, I feel like, keep pushing, keep going, and see where it takes you. Like most people out here, they don't have anything to chase. You know what I'm saying? So even if it might seem small, you're gonna have family members, you're gonna have friends. They can't see you. They can't see you for your artistry because they grew up with you. Don't expect them to come and give you that push. The push is gonna come from meeting individuals like this, like me and you. Like it has to be genuine and organic. Don't wait on your cousin, on your friend, on your wife, on anybody to come and tell you like, yeah, you can do it, or you got to learn how to knock that out and keep pushing forward with your vision, man. Because if not,
Yep,
you're just gonna be living a mundane life, man. Going on, that's easy. That's always gonna be there for you. But this right here, only a certain amount of people get to chase it, man. So you might as well chase it. This life's short, man. So you might as well do it. The fuck you want.
exactly. Life is so much better when you create, whatever that may be, and life is so much better when you have other creators on your team or people that you interact with that are also on some sort of path, and that's the beauty of this game. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I just think that life is just more fun when you create. That's why we doing this shit.
Oh yeah, yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
All right. Well, y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in. I know this is going to be a badass interview. I'll be uploading it like very soon. And then, yep, we're going to keep rolling. And for you, if you ever want to talk about anything and have discussions about anything, like let this be one of your outlets. If you ever want to talk about other future projects, other things you got going on, let me know, man. The door's always open for you.